They run into an elderly couple.
Ugh. The old guy, at the very least, seemed like a plant. He literally looked like he was being held up by a fucking
All
stick.
right, I'll have no more of this.
The guy wanted to die 10 years ago.
Weekend at Bernie's fake love couple. It's ridiculous. Hi, hello, and welcome to another brand spanking new episode of another Bachelor podcast. I'm Dylan, saddled up next to one real Nicholas Davis.
What's going on, everybody?
Hey, Pat.
Yo!
So let's get into the show. Whew, hell of an episode. Don't want to give my general thoughts first. I'll go to you, Nick.
Oh, come on. I told you last week I wanted to go first on general thoughts.
Oh my God, that's so inconsiderate of me. I'm so sorry.
Don't worry, Pat. I remembered. I wasn't gonna let that
Thanks,
happen.
Nick.
I don't know that I buy that.
I
Really?
wasn't. I was looking at you.
I feel even worse. Hey, Pat.
Yeah.
So my general thoughts for the episode. I'm kidding. Pat, general thoughts.
I thought the episode was just okay. Look, I'm sick of listening to Luke P. argue with the guys. They had like 4 different scenes, not to get ahead of myself, in this goddamn episode. It's so tedious and boring. We get it. Luke doesn't get along with the other guys. He's a psychopath. I get it. Jesus Christ, I'm driven down my fucking brain.
I vehemently disagree. I understand that we're a little, we're chock full of Luke P. fighting with the other guys, but I thought tonight the interactions were fun. They were spicy. And I thought it was a great freaking episode. A great freaking episode. Nick?
I think it's odd just because Pat went first.
Yep,
you go second. I guess we just rotated instead of...
It's like a game of Monopoly. Counterclockwise.
My general thoughts are the same as last week. Although, I'll say what my general thoughts were last week. I said, Peter was the MVP.
Yeah.
And I'm sick of this Luke P. bullshit.
Okay.
And both of those things are true. Although the bullshit this week was a little more fun than the bullshit last week.
Well, and Peter was not the MVP this week.
I mean, in his small moments, I don't know. He kind of...
Yeah, we have a clear MVP this week, I think.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Clear. A little cannonball.
I feel like an idiot. Can I take my general thoughts again? I can, because we've done it before. Bad precedents.
Slippery slope.
The episode was pretty good, actually. I liked all the fighting amongst the guys. I really enjoyed myself. It's getting better, and I think I'm excited for hometowns.
I agree. Okay, let's get to it. We start in the magical tulip beds of the Netherlands. We talked about this when we saw the preview. I mean, it's just a stunning locale.
The preview before the season. Even.
Yes.
And Dylan nailed the location. He was like, I think that's Netherlands and he was right.
Yeah, saw it on Stumble Upon a few too many times. Remember that website?
Stumble Upon was fun.
It was a lot of fun. I think the world would be better if we had Stumble Upon, because what we have now is Stumble Upon, but on Instagram.
And Stumble Upon would be influenced by leftist propaganda
that's
algorithms.
We don't need to talk about the internet and that whole world. We're here to talk about ABC's The Bachelor. Hannah meets the gentleman in The Bachelorette. Excuse me. Hannah meets the gentleman in a beer garden of sorts. Tyler looks absolutely incredible and very chill. Jed gets the one-on-one.
Mm-hmm. Hey, if you don't mind, can I point out a pet peeve that I have?
Yeah, absolutely.
Upon Hannah meeting the group, all the boys are there. Luke holds her and says, "Are you okay? You okay?"
She did sound a little froggy.
I get that, but you tell me if this is just me. I don't like when people just greet me and go, "Is everything okay?" What the fuck? You writing a book about me? Go fuck yourself. Don't analyze me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it just me? I don't like people ask me if I'm okay.
It's so crazy that you're not Jewish, because you're so paranoid and on the defense all the time.
Well, I think it's kind of like a power move on me. Like, what if I'm sickly, then you're healthy or something? I don't know.
I get what you're saying. I thought it was even more concerning. I thought that it showed a true connection and a true care for her. Mm-hmm. I really mean that. I'm not saying that tongue in cheek.
That's weird. Regarding her sickness, I was really not impressed with ABC. They're just forcing Hannah B to go out and perform under these conditions. It's insane. She clearly was not well.
Yeah, get out there. The mouse is not paying for extra nights of hotels. You know.
All right, so Jed gets the one-on-one here. Let me just say this. Nick had to address some baby birds this week on the Facebook group because they were bringing up, hey, we heard Jed, there's a controversy out there that Jed had a girlfriend back home. He left the night before he got on a plane to be on this, promised her that he was going to go back there. Dylan, you're wrong medium, but you're staring at me like I'm saying something out of line.
I'm not out of line. I've never heard it.
Well, Nick promptly responded to this one baby bird and said, hey, we're not Reality Steve here. We don't give out spoilers, so we don't discuss that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's just all heart.
I will say I wasn't trying to admonish the young baby bird, the young lady. The still Jed girlfriend thing, I don't know if it's a spoiler, if it's common knowledge. People were saying people reported it, and they usually stay away from spoilers because it was like fed by ABC.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's murky, but it's going to be super fun to get into. I say a little postmortem on the season. I mean, we'll get around. It'll come out at the end of these finales.
Yeah, we'll do a PMZ and we'll get through all these nitty gritty stuff.
Okay. I just wanted to bring it up. I didn't want the fans out there.
Man, your face has been wanting to make a sound for a while now.
Bum bum bum.
There we go. All right. Quickly before they walk off, I just want to say that Mike fires off an air pistol and then says, "Have my lady home by 9." All right, 1-on-1. They chocolate, they jump up and down to Pop Goes the Weasel in one of Holland's many squares. There's a lot of squares in Europe.
Like people who won't do drugs and stuff?
That was a funny joke. Yeah, it was a funny joke. They run into an elderly couple.
Ugh.
Who get a little nosy, if I do say so myself.
See, I had a different take on this. 54 years deep. The matriarch asks Jed how long he and Hannah have been together. And he replies with what I thought was a tremendous lack of respect for the elderly and very defensive. He says, long enough to know things. 1, cool it. 2, what the fuck does that mean, Jed?
It means nothing.
What the hell does that mean, you tiny little headed man?
I think he was very anxious in this situation, just suffering from really, really bad anxiety attack. And because that was nonsensical, and he was struggling. He even looked like fearful of the couple when they started talking to him. Like, you didn't see this coming?
Oh, they were very scary.
I don't like old people that like wait around for young couples so they can be sitting on a bench and go, "Oh, how long you guys been married?" Like, well, how long you been married? 50 years. Oh, congratulations for being married. Way to brag about it. Like, who gives a fuck?
And I'm going to don the tinfoil cap here this time.
Don't.
I think it's a little coincidental that they somehow found this couple that had only known each other for 10 days.
Patrick.
I think that might have been intentional to show that the Bachelor process could work.
I just hate when you get cynical about stuff like this. I think that love kind of drops metaphors like that in your lap sometimes, and I think that you haven't felt that, and I think that's why you're donning a tinfoil cap. You're just being absolutely ridiculous.
Or
Pat, don't you?
Look, the old guy at the very least seemed like a plant. He literally looked like he was being held up by a fucking stick.
I'll have no more of this.
The guy wanted to die 10 years ago.
Weekend at Bernie's fake love couple. It's ridiculous. All right. Meanwhile, we need one.
Meanwhile,
date card gets dropped. This is where we start to see the Korean water ghost kind of unraveling here a little bit. Connor is very scared because, Connor has been taking a hell of a backseat. I mean, a hell of a backseat. Early one-on-one, but since then, really nothing. Tyler Chill is the beneficiary of the all-important one-on-one, obviously, because he's stunning.
And chill.
Night date.
Night date.
Okay, Jed says that he wants to. They sit down to a lovely meal, as is customary, and Jed says that he wants to take on her pain, her anxiety. It's almost like he signed up for one of your classes, Pat.
Oh, exactly. He has a lot of platitudes here. It's one of the things I hate about him is he's just loaded with platitudes. Just like he just pulls them out of his pocket one after another. None of them make any sense the way they string together.
So he didn't take your class?
No, I would have had a cohesive message that I would have told him to point out to her. Like, grab a story, stick to that story, focus on that. Don't just be all over the goddamn place.
Well, I apologize if I'm not familiar with your curriculum because you really have only given us what is one class, which is don't talk, keep the pressure on her 101.
Oh, no. And also ply her with liquor.
Oh, excuse me.
Fail.
Fail.
So she does not talk to him or about him the way that she does the other guys. I mean, this is different.
I didn't see this coming. I'm just going to say it. This was the one surprise of the night for me personally.
Yep. Here's our MVP. Here's the MVP of the evening. MV Jed.
Oh, I still thought when we were like all in simpatico, seemingly, about who was MVP, we were talking about Tyler Chill.
No, I mean, Tyler Chill is MVP for us. I mean, I would just love to be best friends with him. Maybe fuck him. And then also, what? What?
You should follow him on Instagram. He runs every Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah.
In a different city each week, and all these just flocks of girls are showing up. Oh,
Yeah.
man, he's all the rage.
You have to run to get a body like that. You just have to do it. It's hard. You got to hit the pavement. Bad on the knees, though.
I mean, six packs are made in the kitchen more than they are the
100%,
gym, Dylan.
Nick.
You got to shed some of that fat, and you do that by running. You're doing that by...
I've seen a lot of chubby people that are avid runners.
No, you haven't.
Yes, I have.
No, you haven't.
Oh, all the time.
No, you haven't.
Okay.
But avid runners, people that run a 5K every day, there's just no way that they're chubby.
They eat a pizza at night and they think that's going to cut that pizza off.
Yeah, well,
but it doesn't.
It's wrong medium, but I'm vehemently shaking my head.
Well, not
or nodding my head.
vehemently. You're pretty chill right now.
Oh, yeah, I guess I am.
Yeah.
Dale, I don't know if you're going to point this out. All right. I don't know if Hannah's trying to get her like therapist licensing or something, but she starts out every date, and some of it with the editing, you don't hear her ask the question, but she's searching for the pain, the darkness. That is not what you should be asking. It's okay. That is, you can save that for later when you get to know each other. You don't need that as a foundation for getting to know each other. So I think she's going down the wrong path with that.
Yeah, it's a bizarre trope of this show. Like, in order to expedite love, you have to know about trauma, and that's just arbitrary and doesn't make any fucking sense. But regardless, it was in that beautiful moment earlier in the day that Jed, I'm pretty sure, entirely forgot when they messed up the heel click, that kind of launched her into falling in love with him. And I get confused with what people are saying and who says I love you and I'm falling in love, but this was the first one of the season, right? Oh! Okay, so it was a bit of a bomb. It was an L bomb.
Or it was an L bomb.
Yeah.
And it was insane. It came from nowhere.
Right. And it's early for an L bomb like that. I mean, did you hear that? How loud that thing was?
It was almost too loud, I would argue. Yeah. But you two were just so in sync that it was a bomb that was dropped. That was incredible that he had that sound drop. Right?
Yeah, it's almost like we talked about it before the show started.
Did you?
No.
So let's discuss
Pre-production.
the foundation, or as this moron called it, their foundationality of their relationship.
Uh-huh.
What is it based on? Every time
Foundationally.
they hang out, he plays an instrument and she listens.
Yeah.
And then they make out.
Right.
Well,
Well,
they're in love.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's the ceiling for this kind of love. I mean, it's the Bachelorette. Just lastly, before as we wrap up, he says that his heart fell through the earth when she told him that. You know, he is a bad singer-songwriter, and he speaks like a bad singer-songwriter. Like, that's a terrible lyric.
I like to call him Jed Wyatt Derp.
Don't get it.
His last name is Wyatt Earp, but I called him Wyatt Derp.
Oh, got it.
I think he said that because he's like, how am I going to explain this to my girlfriend back home?
Okay. Yeah. All right, let's get to the next day. It's the Hague.
Speaking of the Hague.
Oh, do you have a little TripAdvisor review of the Hague?
Well, the Hague is the city, right?
I thought it was the big building.
No, they're
Yeah,
actually...
It's the city. It's weird that the Netherlands gets to put the in front of their cities.
extremely...
The Brooklyn.
I didn't know what was going on. That sounds super cool. Brooklyn should name itself to the Brooklyn. Rename itself.
Yeah.
The big building you saw is actually the Kurhaus Hotel. It's a 3.5 with 1,735 reviews.
Not great.
Ranked 53 out of 69 for the Hague.
Huh.
Not good.
Not good.
Kind of historic, but sounds like it's gone downhill, as evidenced by this 1-star review written by Jasmine C.
How many contributions?
2 contributions.
Wow, she's one of those.
What does that mean?
You go to voice major concerns.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Something really bad happened.
Yeah.
She writes, housekeeping of the hotel have stolen my iPad. Police are helping me now. Living silverfish in the bathroom.
Oh my God. One of the most disgusting names for a bug. The how gross the bug is and the name, that combo. Ugh.
That's really clearing it up to me because though that's still disgusting what you explained,
Yeah.
I was definitely thinking there was a fish inside of that bathroom.
Now they're like earworms.
Just flopping around when they walked in. That's what I imagined. Just
I would rather a floppy fish than silverfish.
She continues.
Yeah.
Dirt and dust under bed.
Uh-oh.
Stranger hair between the mattress and the bed. I think she meant strange hair, but she said stranger hair.
Stranger hair is a hell of a two-word tandem there. Stranger hair.
I mean, if it's not yours, it's redundant that you don't know someone who stayed in that hotel. Of course, they're a stranger.
Right.
They're just hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like a good or bad name for a band.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Or a Netflix series.
Wow.
No telephone for room service. You will need your mobile phone. It was disgusting and personnel very unfriendly. Breakfast was good.
Oh,
I will never come back.
You know, that sounds like
hats off to the
if
to the chef.
I would have had that experience and I went to TripAdvisor, I would have started. If I could give this 0 stars, I would.
What?
That sounds like a 0-star night. Silverfish and dust, stranger hair, no phones. Wow, that's really bad.
Real nightmare.
Yeah, real goddamn nightmare.
Wow.
Okay, we got to move on. Hannah is talking about how high the bar is with Jed. And then we see Tyler chill, who is far, far beneath that bar. But that being said, I mean, how could you not take him to Fantasy Suites? I mean, he's going to Fantasy Suites.
Well, we'll see. You know,
Oh, Pat.
I'm a detailed motherfucker.
Yep.
There's 2 people that have picked Hannah up and not gotten leg wraparounds.
Mike.
Mike was one. Mm-hmm. Tyler was the other.
Well, if she doesn't have sex with him, she's an absolute fool. You know, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity to grab a hold of something like that, and you gotta let it happen. Also, I think that the mathematics just work out. I think he's gonna lay that pipe because it looks like Luke is going to be terminated early. Again, I'm just amazed that they keep showing that to the viewing audience, but I think he will be eliminated before Fantasy Suites. You get 3 Fantasy Suites, right?
Yeah. God, I should know.
He's a lock. He's a lock. Okay, so moving on. You know, guys, we find out that our Superman does have a kryptonite.
Is it kryptonite?
What do you mean?
Actual kryptonite? His kryptonite.
No, it's
horses.
It's a quinophobia, fear of horses. I don't know how you could be scared of a horse. Maybe if you're behind one, it's a dicey place to be, but they're just unbelievably beautiful creatures. Command so much respect.
This date, not to get ahead of myself, but they have the horse date, and then there's some ice cream involved. They're trying to. This date is not going well. I thought he was on the chopping block while I was watching this real time.
You thought he was going to the glue factory?
Yeah.
How many deaths were we at Santa Anita?
30.
30.
Yep. I took a photo there where I looked really good looking like a month ago. I thought about posting it on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I was like, no one's going to like this photo.
You should have posted that picture, and then the caption should have been, if these dead horses could see how handsome I am. No, but I don't know what's going on there. It's like they're running them on concrete or something.
I will say, Pat, A, don't let people bully you from what you post. You had a great time at the track that day. That's not your fault. They're dying. And B, you look the exact same in every picture you've ever taken. Pick any one. You're a good-looking dude, man.
Yeah.
You don't need that specific picture.
Yeah, and the Botox is doing tremendously.
Thanks. Hey, so I'm going to post that photo on our Facebook page for the baby birds to see.
Yeah.
Anybody gives you some flack, you send them to me. And
What's that mean?
I don't know. I'll tell him what's up. That's whack. He had like I said, he had a good time.
Yeah.
And also, I had a really underrated tweet. Only got 2 likes. We discussed this off mic, of course.
Yeah.
Twitter is hard. But I said, Santa Anita is the Dominican Republic for horses.
So I'm going to just do my best to steer us back.
Yeah.
So this date, I think it's adorable. I think the horses are such a hoot. And I do want to talk about pickled herring really quickly. One of the most vile foods on the planet. I don't understand. It's just very off-putting, the culture of pickling and fermenting fish in Europe. It's really bizarre.
This is where you do it like in Alaska or some fucking island off of Australia where the people are very sad and they have a few things to fucking eat and they're used to it so much that they like disgusting stuff that's rotten away.
Right.
You don't do this in Europe. Fuck that.
It's a power node of gastronomy, and they're fucking pickling fish. You know, I am so blown away that Hannah just scarfed that down.
She's shown this time and time again. She will step up to the plate in these type of situations.
Dude, she really did. And Tyler's reaction, still really chill.
Yeah.
But I would have done the same exact thing. I've had pickled herring before. I did the same exact thing.
You choked and act like a little bitch?
No, you don't act like a little bitch. It literally is food that people eat that to some, like me and Tyler Chill, is so revolting when you put it in your mouth, it makes you want to throw up. Think about that dichotomy for a second. There are people that love it, and there are people that literally throw up when it lands on their tongue.
Yeah, big softies.
Well, it was
You and
fuck off.
Tyler Chill.
Have you ever had pickled herring?
No.
Yeah.
Well, I one time I had a teacher gave me sardines canned in mustard, and I struggled, but I kept it down.
Okay.
Well, it didn't go unnoticed by Hannah. She said, "You need to man up."
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's always weak points. He's not quitting football for golf, but I mean, swallow the fish.
Yeah.
The only worst type of herring is a red one.
Yeah. Hate red herrings, especially during arguments. So
That's what I meant.
yeah. So speaking of fish, Sagui, Tyler and old Sigmund sit down, and she really, really digs into his freaking brain. She's trying to psychoanalyze him. And, you know, the aforementioned Freud did say that the Irish are impervious to psychoanalysis. He forgot one other group. That's the truly chill.
It goes back to what Pat was saying. Like, she just prize. It's nag. I don't know. It's
She tries to go deeper. It's like this. Nick, play along, will you?
I will.
Nick, tell me your worst story ever.
I don't know. Like,
But get deeper. Get deeper.
I mean, my parents died.
I know, but did you know him that well?
No.
Tell me more.
I mean, it was a pretty
get
horrific
deeper.
death. No, I'm telling you, they stabbed themselves in the chest.
But how long was the knife?
I walked in. It was 12
she
inches.
keeps interrupting.
You're saying that she interrupts a lot and she's very detail-oriented?
Like, the guys are trying to answer the questions, and then she'd interrupt them with, but get deeper.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
It's like a child just going, why?
Yeah.
Great,
Yeah.
great Animaniacs.
You know, now that I
sketch.
think about it, that improv you guys just did was pretty perfect. All right, let's get to the night date.
Night date!
We get a little insight into Tyler, as you just said, Pat. It's a tale as old as tales. Liquid assets melting away at net worth and families getting torn apart. I mean, it's a tale as old as tales.
Hold on, let me break this down. Unless
Yeah,
I don't want to step on you.
No,
I
go
felt like
ahead.
it was perfect. Slickster's riding high on money that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So
Remember, credits are just numbers on a computer screen. Pat, go ahead.
let us get this straight about like how horrible his childhood was.
Yeah.
They lived on a house on a lake.
Yeah, Jupiter, Florida.
And then the economy went bad. And then they had to move into a slightly smaller house. Wah! What's your next horrible story as a child? Hey, I asked Santa for a motorcycle. Next day, a Vespa showed up. Wah!
So Hannah says that she doesn't want to communicate the way her parents communicate with one another in marriage. And I'm just a little confused. Like, I don't know how that could be because I'm not sure how a man with patterned cuffs and long silver straightened hair could communicate poorly unless he's like, hey, go change. You look like shit.
Long day at the hair salon. You know what kind of pressure he's under?
It goes without saying, Tyler Cho gets the rose. And we can proceed. Do they say that they love each other too?
No, they don't, but it's another shocker. I never would have saw this guy coming down to the Final Four. I am shocked by
Yeah, I didn't think he was going to make it this far too.
I did.
Oof.
You did?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't say I love you. He said, I'm falling hard for you, and I feel like I'm going to fall in love with you. So that was a kind of a new one to the lexicon. I feel like I'm gonna fall in love with you.
Oh, wow. I mean, the innovation happening in this season with these stupid sayings is really incredible.
The linguistic gymnastics.
Yeah, that's great. Linguistic gymnastics, yeah. All right, meanwhile, one-on-one date card comes. Mike's name's on it.
Not Connor's, Mike's.
Not Connor. Not the Korean water ghost. And once again, he is very, very upset. He decides to go see Hannah, who sends some mixed signals out of the gate. I think she's rather convinced that she's going to send him home. Be a little more somber when you see him. You don't need to light up.
I think
if you're going to be sending him home.
I think at this stage of the game, not to get ahead of myself, but later on with Mike, I think Hannah now feels very responsible for the people that she's sending home, and she's very like legitimately, I believe that she's really upset.
This didn't seem that hard on her at all to me.
Why even put him? Oh, I guess it's the show.
Well, let's talk about him for a sec, because I don't know how I feel about this move. I thought he was going to go in there and say, we don't have a connection. I'm going to step out because it's been great, but we don't have it.
And because I liked what he said before, he was like, I've never brought a girl home. Like, I don't know after all this group date time if I want to bring Hannah home.
Right.
So I definitely thought he
totally valid concern too.
I was like, oh, that's kind of dope move. Like very, very real, actually.
But he doesn't do that. He goes and he begs in a way.
Or he kind of puts out there, he begs. Yeah, well, shut up.
He doesn't beg. He doesn't grovel, but he's definitely like throwing a line out to see if there's like any way that she's going to keep him. And I think it's because she fucking lights up when she sees him. He's like, whoa, what the fuck is this?
Hey, why do we need to talk about it? I got a clip.
Oh, that's right. Duh, Dylan. Pat, play the clip.
Yeah, I think I've said to you for a while, like our one-on-one time has been amazing. It's really why I wanted to come up here and just spend, one-on-one time with you and just talk about some stuff.
I don't know. When we're one-on-one time, it's been great. Obviously, it's been great together, but there have been moments where I've been like, where's Connor? Like, what are you doing? You've kind of like faded in the group dates. Do you feel that?
Yeah, no, definitely felt I don't always kind of stick out in the crowd, but I think I've always held on to like that one-on-one we had. As crazy as it sounds, like I knew I was feeling those feelings of falling in love.
What a sweet guy.
I think this goes back to Pat's point about group dates being not a fair assessment of the guys. Like, they have great one-on-one time, but for some reason she needs some obnoxious asshole that stands out in the crowd.
Yeah, it's almost like the process is imperfect.
Let me put my stank on this, my opinion. One thing I didn't like about Hannah is that she kind of puts it on him.
Okay.
You kind of got lost. You weren't around. Hannah, this is your show, bitch. Sorry, I mean that respectively.
Respectively?
Yeah, I mean that in a respectful way.
Yeah.
Hannah, you get to pick the people and say, hey, let's go on a one-on-one. You got sick the last time, and this guy had to show up to your hotel room, so it does mean he's trying, right? Didn't that's how it went last time?
I had the same thing written down, Patrick. You scoffed, but she ends up blaming him for it. And I even had, bitch, take some time to learn about
Oh, my God. Oh, my goodness. All right. Did you spit on the board?
No.
Don't do spit takes on the board. Do them to the left or right. All right, let's get to the next day. One-on-one with Mike. Right out of the gate, it does not feel good. Hey, do we get a leg wrap around, Pat?
Nope.
No, we do not.
No.
It was like such a significant
It was a
nod.
swing, yeah.
She bended at the knees 90 degrees outward. Outward. Swing and a miss.
They, I don't know, bike, and then they go to a warehouse filled with art. Mike says that he loves art. All right, Mike.
That's his dad's name.
Art?
It's my favorite delicatessen. Clearly, he's not a fan of art because they take a look at this painting and she says, "Do you think that's a guy or a girl?" And he says, "It's a guy," and it's clearly not a guy. It's a woman. And
Whoa, Dylan! I don't think you should be assuming gender.
No, this isn't about gender, and this is not a blue dress. This is not a gold dress. Okay, this is a woman. It's
Who
a
gives
painting
a
of a
shit?
woman. Okay. I'll tell you what. I've got the hots for this painter girl.
No.
I've got the hots for her.
No.
Yep, she is a smoke show, and I think that this painter needs to be the next Bachelorette. If this girl was the Bachelorette, can you imagine the freak show it would be? She's a Dutch painter. Pat, it would be like those the vaginal painting scene in Lebowski. It would be wild. Dutch painter for Bachelorette.
Wow.
Hashtag it. Put it on a t-shirt.
Yes.
So Mike says, I don't know. They get to painting, and Mike says that her soul looks beautiful. Shut up. They start painting. It's terrible, obviously. Then the hot painter steps in, and she draws them in silk. What do you do with this painting after you've gotten kicked off the
I
show?
had the same thought, Dylan.
What the fuck do you do with
Does
this
Mike
painting?
keep it?
Yeah.
I mean, and then when the wife moves in, does he have to like hide it, slide it in between some
Right.
cabinets in the garage?
Yeah.
Maybe remember back, like, hey, that's when I was on TV.
Yeah, it seems like a burden. I'd say no, you can keep it.
Auction it to some fucking psycho.
That's exactly what I do
That
for like.
Asian guy that went on the tour at the beginning of the season. Lastly, I'll say artists are said to be able to tap into the periphery of the other dimensions that are swimming around us.
That's what I feel like we do every time we step in the studio.
Yeah, exactly. She can smell auras, she can see auras, and I think that she correctly depicts him as the devil.
Whoa.
If you take a look at that painting, he looks like Satan. We'll post it in our Facebook group. He looks like Satan in that picture, and she looks like fucking Beelzebub.
I looked at it and I was like, I think 6 months into like an art painting class, you could do better than this.
Patrick, it's interpretive.
Okay.
She's using the medium.
Okay.
She's hot.
She is very hot. I will say I did think Hannah's portrayal of Mike was much more accurate, even though he was offended by it. I thought she nailed it. You put those two side by side, exactly the same.
Night date.
Let's get to the night date. Yell.
Night date!
All right.
This was really weird.
Yeah. So I mean, we've got a fucking short film to start off the night date. I mean, this is a string-rich short film. She's staring at paintings of Catherine the Great and the girl with the pearl earring. What the fuck is this?
That painting was staring back at her. She was it was very confusing to me. Except the music was really good, so I knew something was happening, but simultaneously I didn't know what significance it had.
Yeah. Well, let's get to the dinner. She's crying right out of the gate.
Well, he shows up and she's crying.
Yeah.
He's got to know he's fucked at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
Pat,
not a
we
good
are just
sign.
on the same page. I have quote, Mike knows he's fucked.
Seam potty go.
Seam petticoat. Yeah, it's not a good sign. They sit down and she's kind of going through her emotions. Then she compares herself to St. Catherine, a great heroine, not a soft target like Hannah.
Can I tell you a little something about St. Catherine?
Absolutely.
please.
I knew I was going to get a Catholic history lesson from you tonight.
I want to tell you a little something about St. Catherine.
Yeah.
She was an 18-year-old virgin martyr. She was scourged so cruelly and for so long that her whole body was covered in streams of blood. During the scourging, Catherine stood with her eyes raised to the heavens and did not show any sign of being inflicted with pain. After the torture, she was then imprisoned by pagan Emperor Maxentius for 12 days without food and lived because a dove or some bullshit came down from the heavens and fed her.
Yeah. I love when you quote the good book.
Upon the failure of Maxentius to make Catherine yield by way of torture, he tried to win her heart by proposing in marriage. She refused. She was sentenced to death, first by death on a spiked wheel.
Yeah.
But with her touch, she broke the contraption and it shattered.
Yeah.
So then she was ordered to be beheaded, and she called for the commencement of the beheaded and was finally killed at 18. You, Hannah B, are no St. Catherine.
No, she's a soft target. But
Well, she's on a reality TV show. I thought I was trying to like weigh it out. It could be the same thing.
Yeah.
But then when I heard the last part of Nick's description of those events, I was like, nah.
yeah, I know, because I wasn't fully there with him until we really got to the end of that. I was like, I think St. Catherine and her are pretty similar.
Neck and neck.
Yeah.
Neck and neck.
Okay, we need to get to a meanwhile.
Meanwhile,
One of the most chill knights in shining armor we've ever seen delivers the best line of the season. They're quarreling with Luke, who is saying he's going to be happy when the guys go home. And then Tyler says this.
The worst thing about all this is like we have a villain, and usually the villain's like some big, tall. We got a 5'8" villain.
Does that make you feel better?
Yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there.
all right, I have not been a fan, as I've called him Tyler the Drunk. You guys have called him Tyler Chill the entire time.
That's his name.
While I do not think he'll make a good mate for Hannah B, I fell in love with him tonight.
Yeah.
Loved that.
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
Roasted much, Luke. Tyler goes a little bit further, says that everyone hates him, which is just objective fact. And I love Luke's defense. I love that while grasping at straws, he fucking points to Garrett as Exhibit A. He's like, I was just hanging out with Garrett. The guy that you've been fighting with for 3 weeks? He's the one you say is your friend? You fucking kidding, Luke?
I didn't catch that, but he later on does that when he's arguing with Garrett on the 3-on-1, 2-on-1. Goes out to Peter. He's like,
Right.
Hey, pal.
Yeah, he tries to bro out with people who
Go
absolutely
fuck
despise
yourself,
him. Yeah.
You asshole.
Yeah, please go away from me because you make my skin fucking crawl. You little man. All right, let's get back to the night date. Mike is, we talked about the guillotine a little earlier with old Saint Catherine. She opts to not be Mike's fourth queen. She says fourth lady, like she can't even talk like that.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I know the iTunes and reviews has told me not to comment further on
what?
On mood disorders.
Oh. Yeah.
So I won't comment further, but I will say I think she's having a bad day.
Oh.
And he caught the bad end of that.
No, I think she maybe with the tears, because she was very emotional.
Yeah, you don't do that.
But she did not want to. I mean, whether she was having a good day or a bad day, I mean, there's no way this fake smiling Mike was going to stick around.
Well, he dodged a fucking bullet.
So, we bid him adieu. He'll definitely be on Bachelor in Paradise.
Oh, yeah.
And if he's not on Bachelor in Paradise, he will be the next Bachelor, in which case this show will be fucking over. And I mean it. I'm not doing it. I'm not fucking doing it. And I love all of the baby birds. I love them. But whoever said, I don't want to see him in Bachelor in Paradise, I want to see him as the Bachelor.
You're an idiot.
I disagree with you. I won't speak ill of the fans. I won't do that. But yeah, she's a fucking idiot. I'm sorry. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. I did that for comedy.
I don't think he's going to be the Bachelor. I think you can rest easy. I think it's going to be Tyler Chill. He's killing it with these touring races,
right?
And he's showing up in all his photo ops with "Love is Love" hats.
Yeah,
like he is playing the game.
Yeah,
he's showing up at fans' houses. Tyler C is going to be our Bachelor.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. Tyler C is going to be the Bachelor. God.
We're going to have a super chill season next season,
Can
guys.
you imagine a spoken hot young lady and him making out? I know it's smut. I know we're disgusted by it, but holy crap, that's going to be hot.
Well, let me say this. I've loved Hannah as the Bachelorette. It's Luke P that's ruining the season for me.
That's partly on her.
But I think she's a great Bachelorette. If you would have asked me during Colton season, I would have said no fucking way.
Right,
but I've fallen in love with her. It could work out for Mike. It could work out for Tyler the Drunk. Who knows? Anything's up for grabs now. I'm open.
All right. Well, let's get to more of the show. Kind of rounding the corner here. Group date.
Can I do a roll call?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, you want to know who's on the date?
Yes, please.
Well, you got to ask for it.
Hey, Pat, can I get a roll call?
Roll call. Here's how it goes. Garrett calls the Hail Mary. Luke responds, "You better fear me." Oh, and Luke is a tattler, and Peter's no longer getting fatter.
Not your best.
I want
Just
Peter to
throwing
leave. How much can I rhyme about this guy's weight?
You know, I called you a savant last week, and I believe that. I think that you've got plenty more in that well. Keep drilling.
Peter's gonna be around for a while because he's a fighter, even though he keeps getting wider. Wider and fighter
That
don't
was
really
like
work.
watching somebody try to do a gainer off of the high dive and hitting their head and then falling into the water like a dead body.
Did you just see a post? I think like Barstool or something, like Summer's here and someone did that.
Yeah, I think that's why.
We saw the same thing.
So let's get to the three of these young men. They have different approaches. Garrett rushes in, a little too hot. Peter says he loves that color on her, a little gay. And then Luke waits, and he greets her like a man, like a tiny, tiny little man. I just got the feeling the entire time that he was going to get the rose, and I had that feeling because I saw in the previews that he was going to get the rose. That's why I had that gut feeling.
Do better, ABC.
Please.
Jesus Christ. All right, they sit down in some fucking hearth, and Luke takes her first. Now, Luke is really trying to course correct here. He's gotten a lot of criticism from the guys. He's trying to improve himself, carry himself with a little bit of dignity. He says that he's not going to name anyone's names, and then says this.
Jed looks at me and he's like, yeah, I got advice for you, Luke. Try and keep your head out of your ass. Out of all people, like I expect that from Tyler. I've been getting comments like that from him and other people, but to hear that from Jed, that concerns me for you and like the character that they've shown me. Like last night, Garrett, he like starts calling me out, and then I go, "What? Like, why are you acting so different? You and I were just cutting it up yesterday." And he goes, "Yeah, sorry about that. That was me being fake."
Like you said, one fell swoop, three guys.
3 birds, 1 stone.
He literally names every single person. I just have to say really quickly, fuck Hannah.
Yep.
Seriously, fuck Hannah. How I get that he's getting bullied and that they have the religious thing together, but he is talking to her about the other guys all the time. Why is he there? Why the fuck is he there?
Because physical attraction, like I thought about this. I kind of analyzed this. I've not been as bad as Luke P, but I've been the guy where the girl that I'm kind of dating goes, you know, all my friends met you and they think you're kind of like a piece of shit. And I'm like, what are they? That's horrible for them to say.
You know, I don't like Garrett. I think that he leans into this role a little bit too much, whether he's being pushed into it by producers, whatever. He's complicit in it. But I'll say again, fuck Hannah for coming at him the way that she did. She was like, I don't want to be with somebody who's fake. Calm the fuck down. Have a conversation with somebody. Why would you ever take the words that came from that little tiny piece of shit and then attack someone else with it without hearing their point of view?
Because she's dickmatized.
So anyways, Garrett comes back down. We've got double points and real smiles. Do you guys have any highlights?
I hate all of it. It's like,
Yeah,
it was gross.
Yeah.
The baloney throwing. Like, I think Luke actually, when he threw the baloney on Garrett, he was saying, "You're full of baloney." And then Garrett said, "Hey, bro, this baloney, I don't know if you knew this, but you're full of it."
Very astute. It went right over Garrett's head, and he thought he had a fucking zinger. No, that's what the joke was, idiot. I felt like Garrett was hammered during this exchange.
You think?
That's why he was getting so like
Smiley?
and just needling Luke. I liked it, but like he didn't seem right. And then we saw him in like a on the fly or whatever we call them.
Right.
And he looked like haggard. It was crazy.
What Garrett was doing here, I thought his tactic, which I thought was very smart, was he was trying to get hit by Luke. I thought he was trying to bait him into a physical altercation,
Yeah.
which would have immediately got him tossed.
Right.
And he almost got him there.
Yeah, I didn't see that motivation in him when I was watching it, but now that you say it, I mean, that would be the smartest way to go. Take a punch and fucking get rid of this little midget.
Go in an ambulance. Hannah will visit you at the hospital, and she said, "I'll see you in your hometown."
Right. God, that would have been perfect.
I think he did like as good of a job as he could of trying to do that. Just like He was really just.
All he needed to say was, "I don't think Jesus actually walked on water," and he would have gotten fucking cold cocked.
Oh yeah.
That would have been a great move. But one thing he did do really well that I admonish, word of the night, Luke asked for earlier in the season was not making eye contact. Garrett did a great job of eye contact, and I would say he took a play out of Mike Tyson's book.
I knew the art of skullduggery. These guys, I knew how to beat these guys psychologically. I walk around the ring, but I never take my eyes off my opponent. I keep my eyes on him. 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 Then once I see a chink in his armor, boom, and one of his eyes may move, and then I know I have him. He still looks at me with his piercing look, and as if he's not afraid, but he already made that mistake when he looked down for that 1/10 of a second. I know I had him. I know I already broke his spirit.
Yeah, I mean, eye contact is maintained. We've got a real tug of war here. I thought that Garrett won the war, really. But Luke landed a couple, talking about Tyson, big shots.
You sound like Hannah with the hyperbole right now. This isn't a war. She's not a martyr.
So Luke goes out and bros with Peter. It doesn't take because Peter's, I don't know.
He hates him. Go fuck yourself, dude.
Let's move on to Peter. God, I had a lot of conviction last week that he was going to win, but I think it's going to be really, really sad when she leaves him at the altar. If she does, I still am confident that Peter's going to take this, but she's got the hots and all the feels for that ugly little singer. I mean, it's real.
It's odd.
All right, Peter gets the one-on-one. Peter gets the rose, obviously. Let's go to the night date.
Night date!
She seems like she's just dreading hanging out with these two. Yeah. Both of them, I feel like. But it's so bizarre. Luke he pulls her away, or they go off first, and he's telling Hannah about how, just really interesting stuff, how he loves sports. And then he talks about temptations of the flesh. Go ahead, Pat.
Because I hated chasing those selfish, fleshly desires, right? Mm-hmm. And all this unfulfillment, nothing satisfied me. And I started hitting me. Mm-hmm. And then here's where the story gets good. I'm getting in the shower and I just remember feeling this heavy weight on me. And I just remember bawling my eyes out. But I remember feeling a voice telling me, Luke, let go. I remember looking at the ceiling, and I remember I could see a glimpse of heaven. And I remember thinking to myself, this is what I need to look forward to.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Was that him in his own way trying to make up something to go I need to hit a few points here? She's religious?
This is him. He's a fucking psycho that genuinely believes that women walking around were temptations of the flesh, and he found God while weeping in a shower. This is a fucking psychotic human being. And I know that I live in a bubble in Los Angeles, but if any girl comes into contact with this kind of stuff, run the fuck away. Run so fast and so far away. But Hannah, being a soft target, likes this. She genuinely likes this. Okay, so Garrett's up next. There is absolutely nothing here between them. There's nothing there.
There's nothing here, but why kiss him and give him hope?
Well, getting back to what you were saying, the I love you thing, he does pull out the I love you, and he says that there was something inside of him that told him he had to say it. And Garrett, that's something called desperation. It's very primordial. It's reptilian. It's a survival instinct. There's no depth to that. You're being disingenuous, and you know it, buddy. You're gonna do fine. You're going to improve people's swings, but not without making their game a lot worse. I mean, that's just That's just golf, you know? You develop these grooves of bad habits, and then you have to fill them with concrete.
Mm-hmm. I agree with 100% of what you just said.
Yeah.
I think 5 minutes into that limousine ride to the airport, he's going like, holy fuck, what the fuck? That was a Hail Mary.
Yeah, you have to be truthful to yourself, and you can't say I love you to someone you know. That the voices are screaming inside of your brain. You have no feelings either way. You're not sure how you feel about her other than you find her mildly attractive. That's all that's going on in his head. Goodbye, Garrett.
Luke stays.
Oh, yeah, but crazy. Before she leaves, he kisses her on all of these different parts of her face.
That was very weird. I took note of it, and like, you can't look worse. Like, you should be angry.
I have this note. This is when you don't hold hands.
Yeah.
You turn around and you walk.
Just be like, don't kiss her like,
Yeah, you're not in a fucking movie, and she chose Luke over you. And, you know, getting to the guys at the hotel, I mean, I know they're developing feelings for Hannah, and, you know, the masculine brain wants to win, of course. But I would just... it's too deep in the process to give up, but I would just be like, what the actual fuck is going on? Because you so clearly know that this guy is so disgusting, yet she enjoys him. It's kind of like pickled herring.
Totally agree.
So you're saying some people like Luke P.
Hannah does. Yeah.
But
Luke pickled herring.
Actually, what's going to be interesting is when the men tell all is Hannah having to explain to Chris Harrison, looking back on the footage, I did not know that was going on behind the scenes. Had I known that, I would have tossed his ass, and then there'll be a huge scream in the audience.
She knows exactly what's going on. But you bring up the after the final rose and all the men tell all stuff. That's going to be fun because there's going to be this drama between Garrett and Luke still. I'm looking forward to that because Garrett goes on before Luke. He lost to Luke. His pride's going to be hurt. And while he's a better man than Luke, hardly, the feuding between them is going to be very, very interesting.
Well, we'll see it in Paradise, right?
Yeah, or Men Tell All, you know, any of these wacky events we've got coming up that are going to be televised.
Yeah, so when Luke P got the rose, can I tell you I'm really bummed?
Yeah.
Because, like, earlier in the episode when Jed on the one-on-one got a rose, I wanted to be like, he punches his ticket to hometowns.
Right.
And then when, who's the second person? Tyler C. got their rose.
Yeah.
I wanted to be like, he punches his ticket to hometowns.
Right.
And then, of course, when Peter got it, I would have said, he punches his ticket to hometowns.
Right.
And then when Luke P got it, I wanted to be like, the P in Luke P stands for, he punches his ticket to hometowns. And I forgot all 4 times.
Yeah, and the Luke pickled herring was the thing that kind of triggered the memory.
I was actually... I thought about it a little bit before that, but then I was like, oh, that's a great segue using Luke P as a thing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you forgot about all that.
Yeah, it would have killed.
I've said in the past that he's not manipulative. He's stupid. I've argued that pretty much the entire season. I'm here to say I'm wrong.
He fancies himself a maniacal manipulator.
I don't know if we're flipping, you know, because he is, I still think, incredibly stupid. I mean, how else would you allow your brain to be consumed with the zealotry and fervent religiosity that he has? But he is really good at manipulating the fuck out of her. I mean, I said, what's the end game? Get eliminated at the same time as Grant? High blood pressure Grant? No, he's lasted much, much longer than Grant. He's going to hometowns.
Which I'm happy about now because I want to see how this story finishes. I need to meet his family, as we discussed earlier. Who created this wild animal?
Yeah.
How did it happen? How did he become who he is? He's a horrible person right now.
Well, I mean, it's insane to think about like how far he would have gotten if he hadn't said that she... her carnal filth disgusts him and that he would be removing himself from the equation because she's essentially a filthy whore and impure in his eyes. I mean, that's what he thinks.
That's what he thinks.
All right, that's the end of the episode for us. We're going to be back next week for Hometowns, baby. This is... If you think we're brutal, I mean, when we see Ugly America, we really kind of lay into it. You know, they're known as filthy, yucky normies, so buckle up for that. It's going to be a hilarious episode and mean. Join us on Facebook at Another Bachelor Podcast. All the baby birds are chirping there. And baby birds, like Nick said, sorry we don't mix it up with you guys live when the show's going, but we do tape another podcast on Monday nights rather inconveniently. But thanks for
You should mention it. It's Another Below Deck podcast.
Oh,
Go check
yeah,
that out.
it's super true. It's another Below Deck podcast about Bravo's Below Deck. Also, join us on Instagram at Another Bachelor Podcast. You can follow Nick on Twitter, Real Nick Davis. You can follow me on Twitter, Dylan Pete Wren. And also jump in those iTunes ratings and reviews. Guys, Pat and Nick, I don't know why, are obsessed with this Sisyphean goal that we're going to get 5 stars. If you could leave us 5 stars and kind words, that would be great. I'm going to just sneak in that I really like the 1 stars. If they're really mean, we'll read them. We should read the 5 stars too, because that's the kind of behavior we want to give thanks to. But anyways.
Yeah, we're not Twitter. We're not just highlighting the inflammatory.
Right, exactly. Anyways, that's it for me. Dylan, saying goodbye. Nick, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Pat, say goodbye, baby.
No.